Black in America, an ABC 10 News special, sponsored by Maya's Cookies.
Over the last 2 years, a lot has happened in America.
They wouldn't necessarily understand me until the death of George Floyd.
From devastating tragedies to outcries for justice.
At the beginning, it looked like we were moving forward.
All of it happening right before our eyes, leaving behind unanswered questions.
I think it was a matter of I had enough.
But tonight, right here in San Diego, we're seeking out those answers from pillars in the Black community.
The only way we can transcend it is to acknowledge that it exists.
Join us for this roundtable discussion. Black in America. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm ABC 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena. We are broadcasting to you tonight from the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, which over the years has become a valuable resource for the African American community and everyone here in Southeast San Diego. Joining me tonight is Bishop Cornelius Bowser, former gang member turned minister. Cherie Jones, real estate broker and co-founder of Black San Diego. Starla Lewis, professor and life coach. And Ekene Okolo, student and educational activist. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight and sharing your insight on the questions and the discussions that will follow in these next 30 minutes. So we want to get right into it. We are almost 2 years from the death of George Floyd. That set off a whole lot of things in motion, and just want to pose the question to all of you, what have you seen change from that time here in San Diego?
Right. So if we start going into the first 30 days of what happened, I know that with our Facebook group, Black San Diego, and also managing our Instagram, I saw our Instagram go up. We almost doubled. We went from 5,000 followers to 10,000 followers. And it was a lot of people that didn't look like us who were reaching out. I mean, we probably went from 1 or 2 messages a week to where we're getting 20 in a day of asking, where are the Black-owned grocery stores? Where are the Black-owned this? How can I support? What do you guys need? Do you need a website built? People were just coming out of nowhere, just asking how they can help. When we got to the second 30 days, it started to kind of die down a little bit, but it was still a sense of community. It was kind of almost we woke up one day and was society actually got it, and it felt like we had the support. But then by the time we got to the first 90 days, that support kind of went down a little bit, and we got less messages, we got less support. I kind of felt like we were just a hashtag at that point, and then now here we are almost 2 years later. I do feel like our community is more together, but I don't feel like the help is really there. I think it's one of those things when something else has to happen for us to finally really get it and really wake up.
Who else would like to jump in and add to that?
Well, I would like to say this, because I measure my life in decades now. And so over time, seeing things happen and repeat and happen and repeat. And the murder of George Floyd really brought to me, in my mind, when Rodney King verdict came through and San Diego was just, the students were falling apart, and they asked us to come and help them, put themselves together. But the same thing with when George Floyd was murdered, it was okay, San Diego's getting it. We have been talking about racism for decades, and yet it took a television version of a lynching where people were forced to actually be a witness for them to truly understand racism is still with us. And I think that was so important, because the only way we can transcend it is to acknowledge that it exists. And I believe that we're in a transcendence phase, but there's so much more information that is needed and necessary for us to get there.
Bishop Bowser, you grew up here in San Diego, Southeast San Diego in particular. You've seen a lot. I mean, what would you add to that? What have you seen?
I agree, and what I would add to that is that there is a difference, and I think things have changed from the perspective of people being critically aware. And especially when you talk about young white youth, college age and so on, they're more aware of what's been happening and what's going on as far as when we deal with the race issues and fairness and justice. One of the things you can look back maybe 4 years ago and could have talked to some of these white youth about abolition, and they wouldn't have been for it, wouldn't even have a conversation about it. But now a lot, especially the younger generation, is more open to that idea of abolition and so on. So I see the change from that perspective, that people are more aware of what's happening, what's going on.
So I'm getting a sense of there's an awareness, but maybe not necessarily a sense of where to go from there. Would you care to jump in that?
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. I know that during my time in middle school and high school, I've experienced a lot of backlash from other students in terms of my race, and I've gone through a lot. And during that time, I'd looked towards my friends for support, but they wouldn't necessarily understand me until the death of George Floyd, where they started to reach out to me and kind of try to see me on a deeper level. So that's definitely been a big shift within my relationships. But I feel like over time that support has dwindled. But I feel like even though they're not reaching out to me as readily as they used to, like in kind of asking about my mental health and how I'm feeling, I definitely agree that the awareness is still there and that they're still making the effort, whether it's subconsciously or they're not verbalizing it, they're making the effort to, change their mindsets.
So we're talking about George Floyd. I want to jump to law enforcement. That has been, such a high topic in a lot of people's minds. We're seeing images behind us right now of different protests and activism here in that summer, after it happened right here in San Diego. What have you seen in terms of law enforcement here from local leaders as to any changes that you've seen made when it comes to law enforcement? Do you feel, I guess, comfortable or in a good place with law enforcement here in San Diego?
I have a flashback of when Lincoln High School reopened. And there was a newspaper article that said those people don't deserve that school. And on the first day when it opened, it was surrounded by police. And these kids are just coming to school. And so that sent a message that, are they kids? Are they criminals? What are they? Are they gangbangers? What are they? And I think that law enforcement are just people. They've gone through the same schools that we all went through. They've learned the same narrative that we've all learned. Why would we expect them to be more conscious than the people who taught them to be unconscious? You see what I'm saying? So I think we're looking at them in a way, yes, they need a different kind of training, but we all do. We've all been miseducated. We've all learned a narrative that isn't rooted in total truth. And as we bring more truth to the curriculum, I believe we're going to see a major change in the way human beings interact with each other, because they'll have a different truth.
I think for me, having kids, and especially one that drives, she's 19 now, but after George Floyd happened, she was 17, and I think by the time she was 18, I remember she got pulled over, and she called me like hysterical. She was scared because of all the things that she's seen in the media and all the things that she's hearing. And it's like, well, at the end of the day, like, I'm Black and I'm a female, and I have this male cop in a uniform that's coming up to me and telling me, hey, you didn't make the correct turn at this point. So she couldn't think about anything else. So I think the sense is like, we're scared and we don't know how to interact. And I think in that sense, it kind of throws the cop off when they're coming up. Why aren't you doing this? And it's like, because I don't know how I'm supposed to react, because this person reacted this way and this happened. Another person reacted this way and this still happened. So what am I supposed to do? So I just sat on the phone with her, was like, calm down, relax. But I think that sense is, they're fearful. Like, it's just, they're really scared. So I think that's just the consensus of our community. And it's kind of like, how do we calm them down so they're not scared? How do I calm my 19-year-old down to be not scared? Or even my 16-year-old son, who is a Black male, and what is he supposed to do when he does get pulled over?
How did that situation turn out with your daughter?
She was actually fine, but I think she was so shooken up that when she got home, she was just like in tears. And the cop was really nice to her, told her what mistake that she made, told her what to do, what she needed to do to correct her, her ticket or whatnot. But I think all that went out the window. She was just scared because this is just what happened. What if the same thing happens to me as well?
Bishop Bowser, I know you work with a lot of young men in the community. What are you hearing?
I think we're now at a phase where we're taking steps backwards. You know, at the beginning when George Floyd was killed, there was a lot of talk within law enforcement as far as change, changing laws. There was a little hope there from the perspective that we would be able to change systems, the way we're racially profiled, with some of the groups that I work with. One is CPAT that deals with PROTECT, which is preventable policing through equitable community treatment, which is to end the pretext stops, which is tied into racial profiling. We were very hopeful that some of these ordinances that we wanted to get passed, right? But as time moved on, we started seeing that it started putting out the fear of race and the criminalization of our communities again. And so now, especially if violence or crime goes up, the first thing they tie that into is that we need more policing. And see, this is what happens when you cut the police forces or the funding and so on. But what we know that the data and the stats shows that there's no correlation between the two, right? Is the crime going up? Because there's some places where they hired more police and crime is still going up. So there's something else we have to look at. But now they're taking steps back and look like we're going backwards versus at the beginning it looked like we were moving forward and so on. So I hope we can put on the brakes and kind of start focusing and having more discussion on policing and what that would look like for everybody, where it would be fair and just.
Akene, as a young person in high school here in San Diego County, I guess what would you add to that?
I would say that, police officers are meant to make people feel safe, yet every single time I am around a police officer or around a police car, I do not feel safe. I feel uncomfortable, and whereas my white friends may feel like, oh, there's a police car, like let me drive well or something so I don't get like a $200 fine for something. It's like, for me, it's like, I don't want to lose my life. It's not about the money, not about any fines, it's about my safety. So that's something that worries me, and I feel like for me to feel comfortable, I need to know that cops are undergoing extensive anti-bias training and they're being, held accountable, and they're really seeing every single San Diego citizen as an equal so that I can feel safe going about my day-to-day activities.
And if I may just add to that, as far as the trainings and so on, they did a study in New York, and one of the things that they found is that the officers, they interviewed them before they went to the class, and then they interviewed them after. And they found out that the officers were in the diversity trainings and so on, they really learned some things, right? They were excited and so on. They were kind of resistant before, but then after, they were really excited about it. But then when you follow them and see what's practiced in the community, practiced in the streets when they're policing, it was still the same, right? So even when you have the trainings and trying to teach them how to understand our communities and so on, the culture within policing, that's what has to be broken. It has to change.
How to put that in practice. I want to jump now to corporate America and to the past couple of years and what we've seen outwardly from a lot of corporations talking about diversity and inclusion and equity. Some people would say it's a lot of talk. What have you actually seen in terms of real change and not just a marketing campaign? Cherry, I see you really reacting. Yeah.
So I actually left corporate America 2 years ago. I think it was a matter of I had enough. I needed to do my own thing. Not that I wanted to, I needed to. It's crazy because my oldest daughter just got her first corporate America job. And she's like, yeah, I did diversity and inclusion training. And she was like, but it was really nothing. And so when we talked about it, it was, it's like a check in a box. I feel like they're offering this training, but it really is just like watch some videos, answer some questions, you check the box, I finished it, I'm done. I don't feel like people are actually really learning anything. And then it makes me wonder who's actually teaching these courses, because if it's somebody that doesn't look like me, then how are you really getting the training there? I definitely think that it is a marketing thing to say that we are here, but I am finding that a lot of startup companies who are ran by a younger generation, it's not a check in a box. They actually get it. They actually are putting people in position to say, this is what we're not doing here. This is what we're not tolerating. But me being in corporate and having somebody who is a supervisor coming to me and saying, oh, your hair is so nice, I just want to touch it, and nobody see anything wrong with it, it's a problem. And so for me to even say like, hey, I didn't like that, then it's like, it's not a big deal, it's just hair. But it's like my hair. So I think that it's just a check in a box, but I feel like the training just needs to really be there, and the people need to look like the people that feel like they need it. So
I'm an educator, and I know that everything comes from what we believe. And what we believe is mostly what we've been taught. The words that we use are the words that we've been taught to use, et cetera, et cetera. I believe education is the key, but it has to be transformed, because we have an educational narrative that is rooted in a belief in racism or white supremacy. And we don't think anything's wrong with sending or busing even all these children of color to all these different areas and still just teaching them a white narrative. We don't get that that's not going to be helpful. And we don't understand that it hurts not just the children of color, but it hurts everybody. How can we begin to embrace one another if we know nothing about one another? How can we begin to feel good about ourselves if we know nothing about ourselves? I believe the purpose of education is knowledge of self, whether I'm taking math, science, or history. And I think that as we really infuse the curriculum, and we have that opportunity now, because why? Because we have an ethnic studies requirement. It's an opportunity for us to learn about each other, the positives and the negatives, not just the negatives and not just the positives. And I think that's what's going to move San Diego forward. I think that's what's going to move our nation forward. And I think that's what's going to allow us to see ourselves in the global consciousness of the world.
So you made reference to the new ethnic studies requirement here in California. That really leads into what I really want to talk to Ekne about, and your effort before that was ever a state requirement. Mm-hmm. You in Poway and your sister had worked to get an ethnic studies courses in Poway, offered in Poway Unified. Mm-hmm. Talk to us just a little bit about that work and why that was so important to you guys.
So during the peak of the Black Lives Matter movement, my sister and I reflected on our experiences with racism that we faced within the Poway Unified School District. And we really sat down and realized that of every single instance, none of them were addressed by school administrators or the district or anything. So recognizing this, we decided to make a platform called Black and PUSD, where we allowed students of color within our district to kind of express their own experiences with racism that have gone pushed under the rug. And within days, we garnered over 7,000 followers and like amassed over 1,200 submissions of just vivid stories of kind of my peers, my own peers and alumni from years prior kind of begging for help. And from this, we were able to garner the attention of my school district. And from then, we kind of really put the pressure on the gas. Like, we were able to implement an ethnic studies course so that, you know, the perpetrators in these instances of racism could really learn and sit back and reflect on the history of this country and understand why their actions are unacceptable. And then with that, we were also able to implement an ethnic literature course where, you know, we can hear narratives other than the white narrative that we've been kind of fed our entire lives. So that was really impactful. And I know I actually took the ethnic literature course this past semester, and it was really nice to be able to see my peers kind of take in everything and try to understand not only Black people as a whole, but me. And I really felt like they were seeing who I am. And so that was really a nice experience for me.
Anyone else like to jump in and talk about that? Just, I want to bring you in actually, Bishop Bowser, just hearing about these changes in our curriculum, in our local schools here.
Well, I think it's great, and you know, especially with the state law that passed last year on dealing with ethnic studies. I think that that's great. When you look at what's happening across the nation, when you talk about critical race theory in Florida and in Texas and places like that, it's pretty good here. And I think with the younger generation, they're more open to that, and versus folks that's stuck in their ways. So, so that's great. And I think that, you know, we need more of it. We need more of it here, more discussions on it, and more in the classroom, much as we can get in there.
Yeah, I also want to add, we're banning books. And when I look at the list, I've used a lot of those books. And some of those books, students have shared with their roommates, with their families, et cetera, et cetera. We can't be afraid of knowledge, and we can't be afraid of the truth, because otherwise we will just create another fantasy that will be a barrier to us coming together and being a part of each other. My students of all ethnicities, because I've been teaching for almost 50 years now, my students of all ethnicities have said they've learned more about themselves in the Black Studies classes, the Chicano Studies classes, the Ethnic Studies class, than any other classes they've ever taken. And I was able to witness the breakdown of the barriers that were between them. You know, I've even performed 2 marriages, I'm just saying. So, you know, it can happen, but I think truth heals, and I think truth connects.
The pandemic created a lot of opportunity for people to bet on themselves, to become entrepreneurs. I think we especially saw a lot of this in Black and brown communities. Why do you guys think that people decided to take that leap of faith during that time?
I would say, you know, because we're entrepreneurs by nature, right? And you give us the right opportunity, we'll seize the moment and make something happen. And also because of lack of opportunity, especially when you look at the Black community, we're not giving a lot of opportunities, so folks have to create those opportunities. When you look at the prison system and mass incarceration, we see how many Black men are getting out of prison and they're not able to get jobs that they need because of being a felony, background checks, and so on. So a lot of these, I'm seeing a lot of these young Black men creating their own businesses, you know, and start, whether it's something they do and they're marketing on social media or on internet, or whether they're doing simple things like landscaping, custodians, or some other type of marketing. So I believe that because we are entrepreneurs by nature, that's why.
Cherie, you had a lot of great stuff to talk about as far as Black San Diego is concerned.
Right. So with Black San Diego, we have 42,000 members in our group. We've been able to identify over 600 Black-owned businesses in San Diego. I know many people say, like, are there even 600 Black people in San Diego? But we are definitely here. I think it's a few different situations going on here. The pandemic kind of gave us some downtime to really start that business that we really wanted to start. Many people were laid off, so then it's kind of like when your back is against the wall, what are you going to do? And I think they were like, let me birth my hobby, let me turn it into something. I think we've kind of had enough of corporate America. We want to do our own thing. And I think now we have access to resources, you know, especially in the group. I'm always seeing, hey, what's an LLC? How do I start an LLC? We have access to attorneys in the group. We have access to people who own insurance companies where you can get business insurance. So we are literally have created 6 steps to say, this is what you need in order to create a business. Now that you have that foundation, let's focus on the product. So with Black San Diego, we focus on start, develop, and sustaining businesses within Black San Diego.
Akane, as a young person, I mean, you're still in high school and looking forward to college, but thinking about getting out there in the world and working, I mean, how do you perceive all that?
I would say, I think the reason why there's a big rise right now is because something I've noticed is that sometimes Black people don't get the credit that they deserve within these corporate jobs. And I know this is like a historical thing, like when we think about Lewis Latimer and Thomas Edison. Lewis Latimer created the carbon filament for the light bulb, but you know, Thomas Edison, as we all know, has the credit for that invention. But this is a historical issue where, you know, Black people are not getting the credit they deserve for what they've accomplished. So I'd say that, you know, now we're realizing that, hey, like we can build our own things. We can do this on our own. We don't need to be, you know, under anyone else. So that's why I think that people are starting to take the initiative and, you know, create their own businesses.
We come from a conflict model. It doesn't have to be a conflict. We can come together, deal with controversial issues, and we can become conscious so that it doesn't have to be as painful. But the pain that we will experience is called growth. It's growing pains. And so we have to free ourselves to be able to be open to coming together and really addressing the issue to transcend our fragility. We're not that fragile people, so we need to just hit it head on.
Right. Guys, unfortunately, we are out of time right now, but thank you all so much for being a part of our discussion, and thank you all at home for joining us. We hope you'll continue to watch ABC 10 News throughout the year. We want to keep this discussion going in our stories that you see every day. So thank you again for your time, and I am Lindsay Pena. Good night.